A pocket trauma kit you could carry every day? Let's build one. There's a lot of everyday instances where a minimalist trauma kit would come in handy. Making it small enough to fit in a blue jean pocket is challenging, but would make it quite practical to carry every day. I totally understand the expensive nature of medical gear. It's become very cost prohibitive to have a bunch of different kits.
Shut up and take my money!
The equipment I'm going to be talking about is chosen for its concealable nature and popularity. I'm going to clarify that there are many ways to set these kits up. There are lots of products and opinions out there. The biggest thing is to get something that works for you. If you don't have one, you can't help anybody. In case you aren't familiar with the IMARCH treatment guideline, we'll cover this more in depth in a later series of videos. Alright, so let's talk about a minimalist trauma kit. Something you can carry with you every day that's going to allow you to start essential life-saving measures up until the point you can get better trained personnel and or your equipment to you. Now, what do we want to carry in our micro trauma kit? This micro trauma kit I've had set up and carried for years on duty as a police officer. This is something that gets you through the very basics to be able to save a life. This covers massive hemorrhaging through a tourniquet, combat wound packing gauze. Breathing is something you will do through technique. Respirations, we can use chest seals. In this case, this kit carries two. And then the small bag is made by Helicon Tex, which is a great little pocket option. Now let's break down this kit. Tourniquet. We're going to utilize this for any sort of extremity hemorrhaging. If there's any red arterial blood spurting out of an arm or a leg, we want to go as high as we can and as tight as we can with the tourniquet. This particular one is made by Tactical Medical Solutions and they run about $30, maybe a little more depending on where you find them. Another option is what we call quick clot or combat gauze. This combat gauze utilizes a hemostatic agent to help in clotting when you basically have to pack a wound. Now, packing wounds is for any place where we would consider to be a junctional area. And what is a junctional area? That's going to be something that's too high to put a tourniquet on. Any areas where basically we can't get a tourniquet up to. That's where we would use the combat gauze. All right, now that we've covered massive hemorrhaging, let's talk about airway. All right, if they're not breathing, they're not moving air, in a trauma situation like this, you're going to utilize a head tilt chin lift like you would for CPR to open their airway. You would then position them into a recovery position that would allow them to really keep their airway open without your assistance. Now, moving into respiratory, that's where the chest seals come in. Chest seal is for sealing up what we call the box, which is going to be the area of the chest. Your lungs work in a negative pressure space. If there's a hole in it, it's going to prevent your lungs from being able to expand and contract as needed. That's where the chest seals come in. These come in handy for being able to seal up that chest cavity to be able to keep them breathing until advanced medical care can get to them. That gets you through the MAR of the IMARCH guideline to essentially start life-saving care. And remember, the biggest part of this is that it's got to be small enough for you to carry with you every day. If you don't carry it, you can't use it. Let's talk about a little less expensive option that I have utilized in the past. This is an Olays dressing from Tactical Medical Solutions. Now, the bonus of the Olays dressing is that it actually has an occlusive dressing, which is your chest seal, and non-hemostatic wound packing gauze. You can utilize this as a pressure bandage, for wound packing, and for a chest seal. Now, this will fit in your pocket pretty easily. This is compressed down. This is their flat pack. What I add to this is a small roll of either medical or duct tape. This occlusive dressing does not have an adhesive, So I use this duct tape to tape it down. In the event there's a secondary wound, I can actually use this packaging to seal up the other side. So add you a little duct tape. This costs all of $13. So as a minimum, you could have one of these and a tourniquet and have all the essentials at a cost-effective measure. For my kit, I use the Helicon Tex Pocket Trauma Kit. Now, doesn't mean you have to spend $30 on one of these. You could use a Ziploc bag or the Olays just as it is. It's very important to remember that if you don't have it with you, you can't use it. There are plenty of options on this subject, and mine is just one of many. There are also pre-made kits out there if you want to spend the money and get one. The biggest thing about this is to be prepared and be ready when needed. Now, the equipment is just one part of this. The other part is always going to be getting good training. Check out our Etsy store where you can find our IMARCH guideline card that also includes the zones for the incident.
Thanks for watching. If you want to support the channel, like, subscribe, share our content, and let us know what you think in the comments.